Hey there, synth drones. Today we're going to be talking about the ASM HydraSynth. Hi, I'm Pure Ambient Drone, and this is my channel where I vlog about synthesizers. Hit the subscribe button, tap the bell, keep up with all of my synth adventures. I would love to have you here with me for each and every one of them. Dig deeper at my website at pureambientdrone.com. Lots of nuggets of gold on that website. You can find out all the places I hang out when it has to do with synthesizers and the internet. Okay, enough of that. Now listen to this. ASM has come out with the HydraSynth. And already people are emailing me about it. Now, I know this is old news for some of you guys, but so much has been going on in my life and in the life of synthesizers in general that I'm just now getting to it. But let me tell you right now, people are already comparing it to, are you ready for this? The Waldorf Quantum. Folks, I want to say right off from the bat, because I like to cut to the chase, this is no Waldorf Quantum. I don't think that they even wanted it to be a Waldorf Quantum. First things first, it's not a hybrid, okay? This is an all digital virtual analog synthesizer. It has FM synthesis in it, but it is not anything close to what a Waldorf Quantum actually is. And that's okay. That's not a slam, that's not a put down, that's just a comparison right off the bat. Now, with that being said, it sounds really good. But you know, in my last video, when I was talking about the Jupiter X coming out from Roland, I said that, you know, I do have trained ears, and I know a lot of you guys have trained ears, and to my ears, virtual analog is a whole different thing than real analog or even hybrid analog. In fact, I think the JDXA did a great job of putting the two synthesis together, analog and then the hybrid digital, right? Okay, sounded great. But this is something totally different. This is going to be completely digital, or should I say virtual analog, and it's not going to be exactly what the Quantum is. Now, with that being said, it sounds absolutely fantastic, but it is not an analog synthesizer, but it is, in my opinion, one of the best sounding virtual analog synthesizers that I have ever heard to this date. This thing absolutely sounds fantastic. Now, I've got some really good studio monitors, and I've got some really good studio earphones, and I even listen to this thing on my cell phone, believe it or not. It sounds really good. And you know, I have a little secret to share with you. If you can listen to synth videos on your cell phone speaker and it sounds warm and juicy on that, you got something there, okay? That's one of my little secrets, is I like to listen to things on my cell phone speaker. And you know, sometimes listening to something through something crappy and it still sounds good gives you a little bit of an idea of whether or not this is some good quality stuff. This synthesizer sounds really good, and I'm really excited about it. And the price isn't bad either. The price for the module is $7.99, and the keyboard is $12.99. At least that's what the street price is supposed to be, and that's what I see it for pre-sale prices right now. So, with all of that, you know, the big question is, would Pure Ambient Drone buy it? Well, you know, I already own the Quantum. And because I own the Quantum, I don't really have a need for this type of synthesis. That doesn't mean I wouldn't want it just because I want every synthesizer that I see. But I don't need it. But that doesn't mean that if you haven't pulled the trigger on the Quantum, you wouldn't want this. Because I would absolutely highly recommend that if you want a VA digital synthesizer in your arsenal, this thing sounds really good. Now, with that being said, from what I heard, it's not like an Access Virus either. An Access Virus is a totally different animal to my ears as well. This thing seems to manipulate sound the same way, or at least in some same ways, as the Quantum does. But just let me clarify to you guys, to my ears, it doesn't sound as warm and as organic as a Quantum does. I went back and I listened to some of my own Quantum sound demos that I've uploaded to YouTube. And to be fair, I listened to them on YouTube because of the compressed audio, right? And then I went back and I listened to some of the stuff from ASM HydraSynth, and I listened to the comparison, and it does sound colder to my ears. Not cold, but colder than the Quantum does. The Quantum seems to have a more organic warmth to it. But you're paying a lot more money for the Quantum, okay? Like as in thousands of dollars more money, as in almost $3,000 more for the keyboard versions compared to each other. So, I mean, you got to ask yourself, how much horsepower do you need and how much do you want? And so for those of you who are on a budget or just don't want to spend that much or just don't need that much or just don't want that much, I'm going to tell you right now that the HydraSynth is a beast of a machine. It's a real fair priced machine. And now listen, guys, I think this has a lot to do, the pricing has a lot to do with what Behringer is doing in the market today. Behringer is really going to be cornering the market in the next couple of years. And there are going to be a lot of big players and small players that are going to have to compete with them price-wise. I mean, right now you can buy a Behringer synthesizer cheaper than you can a MIDI controller in some situations. So it's no surprise that the HydraSynth is coming in just around $12.99. Now, in comparison, you're looking at the Jupiter X running $2,500 and change, and it's going to be not here until 2020, the keyboard version of it, and it's going to be all digital too, okay? So you're going to have a great sounding synthesizer, but I don't think you're going to really expect to get, you know, pianos out of this thing and realistic strings. This is a virtual analog synthesizer, and that is what you're paying for with this machine. Now, I'm not here to sell you anything. Nobody endorses me. It's probably because I'm such a little guy. One day when I've got 100,000 subs or something like that, the big guys, the big companies will be knocking on my door and giving me free stuff to try to sell to you guys. But I'm always going to tell you the truth about how I feel about something. And I want to tell you the truth right now. If I had to buy a virtual analog synthesizer, I would probably pick the AM or the ASM HydraSynth right off the shelves immediately as it comes out. I would probably do that, and I would pick that up over the old Wardorfs, okay, the old Wardorf synthesizers that are out there now, such as the Microwave and, you know, just their old gear, because that's really what this thing compares to, is the old Wardorf stuff. It's almost like they're kind of like bringing them back to life. So if you like that kind of sound, this is definitely the synthesizer that you want to go for. With that being said, like I said, I don't think you're going to get Juno 106 sounds out of this that are kind of realistic. And, you know, the other day I was playing with my Access Virus C, and I was listening to one of the virtual kind of like Juno sounds on it, and it really does come close to the real deal. I said Access Virus C. I have the TI2 now. I used to have the C. The Access Virus is an incredible contender, and I can understand why they haven't updated their hardware in a long time. It's hard to beat the Access Virus. This thing is a different beast, entirely different. So if you're looking for something that's more virtual analog that's going to touch on that side, you want to go with Access. If you want something that's going towards the Quantum, you want to go with this baby, especially at the price of the Quantum. And again, this is no Moog. This is not a Moog synthesizer. This isn't going to give you the Moog sound, but it's going to give you a rich, thick sound that I haven't heard in a long time, or I've never heard in one of these types of synthesizers for its caliber and price range. It's a really good synthesizer. That's my opinion. I would not pick it if money wasn't an issue. I would not pick it over the Quantum any day of the week. I just wouldn't. So if you're hoping that this is going to replace the Quantum, in my opinion, it doesn't. It just doesn't to my ears, but that's my opinion. Yours may differ. And that is why we have a comment section. Keep it calm, keep it respectful, and keep it informative. And your comments are, of course, always welcome. Now, with that being said, please join me at pureambientdrone.com. Dig deeper over there. Thanks for the support at patreon.com/pureambientdrone. You guys, you mean a lot to me. for supporting me the extra mile over there. Until next time, I am Pure Ambient Drone. Keep calm and synth on.